Hello. This is, wow, it's going to be a long day. This is episode 14 of the Wayward Skein podcast. It is Sunday, September 16th. Normally I would be at my mom's by now, but as you can probably tell, not feeling so great. My daughter successfully transferred her plague to me, so I'm staying home and not infecting people, and I feel fine. It's just drainage. Honestly, I kind of feel like it's just a sinus infection at this point, not a cold, because it's literally right here, and that's draining into my ears and face, and yeah. But I mean, my throat doesn't hurt, I'm not coughing, it's just weird. So we'll see how it progresses. I cannot miss work this week, so hooray! We have a massive training thing going on that I kind of have to be there for. Not to take the training, but to help facilitate the training, basically make sure everybody has what they need, get the training materials down to the room and then back up every day. Because of course I work for the government, the materials are protected, so on and so forth, so they can't be left laying around. So on that note, my tea today, I'm sure many of you can guess, and these are my gorgeous IKEA mugs that I love so much, that my friend Crystal bought me. My tea today is Cold 911 by David's Tea. It is like a nice warm Vicks hug. It's got menthol, it's got juniper, it's got eucalyptus. It's amazing. It smells like Vicks, does not taste like Vicks, thank God. But it's a very, very nice tea, especially when you're not feeling well. And I actually need to go get some more because I don't think I have enough to make it through the week. So I will probably be heading out to David's Tea at some point today. I do have to go pick up my kids anyway. One of them is a couple of towns over and the other one's at her dad's. So I have to go pick them up at some point today. Really? The second I start? Really? Boy, she's behind me, so... Anyway, on to knitting content, because this is a knitting podcast most of the time. As you can see, isn't it great? I finished my winter long cowl by Bristol Ivy. The pattern is just called Winter Long, and I'm going to take it off now because I'm hot. I actually still have the AC going, although it's not doing much. We've been in a heat wave for the last couple of days, and I want fall to come back. So I did do the entire pattern, all 7 repeats. It's a fairly long, I'm trying to show you the entire length of it, long cowl. It is 7 repeats of this lovely little wedge shape here. And I love it, and it's really pretty, and it's going to be really warm. It is finished. Let me see if I can find the seam now. Here it is. You can barely see the seam. Unfortunately, well, whatever these are, I think they're called tuck stitches, don't quite line up at the end here. They almost line up, but they're pretty close. They line up pretty well, all things considered. I can't give away anything about the pattern because it is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. The second I saw it, I desperately wanted to knit it, so I bought it and I cast it on, and that has never happened before. I've never just, it's caught on my chair arm now. I'm just going to put it across me like this. So this is the, wow, my brain is just not functioning today. This is the wrong side, this is the right side. As you can see, they're both pretty, they're both pretty, but the right side is just gorgeous. I love it. So this is a gift for someone for whom the yarn will have meaning. This is the yarn that I knit my oldest nephew's first sweater out of, and a little hat. And he passed away when he was 7 months old. And so this is a gift for someone for whom the yarn will have meaning, and who will appreciate the origin of the yarn. And I'm really hoping she enjoys it. She is also a knitter, so I hope she likes it. It's not my mother, in case my mother's watching the podcast. I don't think she does, but just in case. It's not you. You have prezzies. This is for somebody who's never gotten anything knit for me before, and I'm really hoping it goes over well. I still have to block it, obviously, because it does have a tendency to... I'm not even sure how to block it, because the edges are curved. They're not a straight line. I don't know. I'll figure it out. When in doubt, I'll ask. So I'm sure somebody has more experience with this than I do. So I'm not a big blocking person. I'm kind of lazy that way. But anyway, we'll see how it goes, and if I need help, I will ask for it. I'm a little annoyed because at one spot there was a badly done Russian join in the ball of yarn, and it shows, so I might try to pull that through with the crochet hook. I'm not sure yet. So that's a finished object. Yay! Which technically means I'm allowed to cast something else on, but I did bring an old, archived, like, ancient work in progress from last fall. It's not that old. But I did bring one back into the rotation last week, so until I finish that, I'm not going to cast on anything new. I almost had a half-finished object, but I had doubts. So I'm 3 rows away from doing the Kitchener stitch on this sock. This is the Peppermint Mocha Socks by CC Alman. And if I get it closer up, you can see the gorgeous stitch pattern she's used. Now, I was unsure how this was going to look, or how it was going to fit on the leg, because the leg seemed awfully tight to me. And I hemmed and hawed, and then I put it aside, and I said, okay, I'm just going to get my friend Sylvie to try them on, because they're her socks, and I want to make sure they fit her legs. Well, my legs are bigger than her legs, and I was like, dum-dum, just try them on your own damn foot. So I did. And they are perfectly fine on the leg. They're not too tight. They're absolutely fine. I kind of wish I'd done a little bit more, like maybe 1 or 2 more pattern repeats. My hair is all over the place, probably because of the cowl. I wish I had done a couple more pattern repeats up here. It would have made it about this long instead of this long. But, you know, what can you do? I'm not ripping the whole sock back. But what I discovered was slip stitch heels don't act the same as heel flaps. So this length, her foot is about ½ an inch longer than mine, maybe. This would be short on me. Like, it'd be tight, the foot length. And my yarn is all tangled up in the needles, and I'm not going to try and get it out right now because it'll take me ½ an hour. So it's a little short on the foot even for me, so I'm going to rip back the toe decreases, which is only this much. And I'm going to add at least 1 more pattern repeat, and then I'll try it on again. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. Well, I mean, this is my first time doing a short row heel, so I think, maybe, I don't know. Possibly not. It's possible I've done 1 more. But anyway, I didn't expect it to, wow. Don't mind me, my brain is made of phlegm. I didn't expect it to shorten the foot that much, so I will rip back the toe decreases, make it a little bit longer, and then it will fit her foot. So maybe the next time I do this pattern, I'll make the leg a little bit longer. But, so I have an almost finished sock, hopefully next week, because this will continue to be my bust knitting. The other sock I'm working on is a little more complicated, so I really need to be sitting down and concentrating on the charts to knit it. This one I can knit in my sleep at this point, so I won't worry about having to follow the chart on the bust. I will just knit away at it. And like these diagonal squidgy lines here, they do bring in the sock a little bit, so you have to be very careful about your is that gauge? Gauge? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. You know what I mean. Tension. That's it. Brain phlegm. So you have to be careful with your tension, because those squidgy lines actually do gather the sock a little bit, so which you can really see when it's not on the sock blocker. I'm not going to pull it back off because it took me forever to get it on, because brain not working. So I'm not going to show you, but you've seen it in the last couple of episodes if you've been paying attention. So this is the Peppermint Mocha Socks. The yarn is Tilting Planet Apollo Sock, and the colorway is Ocean in a Bucket. This was a very generous gift from the dyer. She sent it to us about a year ago at 2 Tangle Skeins, and I'm just getting to knit with it now. It is the softest, squishiest sock yarn. Like, really, I would have sworn this was cashmere, and I say that every week, but knitting podcasts are somewhat repetitive, so I apologize for that. But yeah, oh, I love it so much. It's so squishy. I kind of wish these were for me, but they're not. And these are done on a 2.5 millimeter, which is my usual sock needle, which is US 1.5. And as you can see, I'm using my Carbons DPNs, which I adore. So that's one of my works in progress. I will put that aside. And all the straggly bits. I've been using my little Flannel Ninjas needle keeper from Slip Stitch Studios, I think. Yeah, Slip Stitch Studios. You can see her little thingy there. This one is great because it's got a little zipper. It's for longer needles, and for my dad's socks I use 8-inch needles just because that happens to be the only length I have that size of needles in. My dad, I usually use sport weight. He has very large feet, large around, not long, but because I use a sport weight, I use a bigger needle, and the only set of those I have is in an 8-inch, so this is perfect. I love it. I'm using it for these. I'm not liking it so much with the shorter needles because my my working needle tends to float around a lot, and I often have to go digging for it. So for that, I wish I had used one of Vandy's, but I really do love this needle keeper, and it's got this little zippered pouch here that I can put notions in. And I keep wondering if maybe I've stashed something in there, and I have not, but it does have a little pocket that you can stash stuff in. So, one of my better Etsy purchases. The other things I am working on, I had shown you the Autumn Leaves sweater last week, and it hasn't been blocked yet, so it's all bunchy. It's a 3 to 6 month sweater, and until it's blocked, the lace is going to drag the back up because it's got this bump here in the middle. So until I block it, it's going to drag it up, but as you can see, once it's blocked, it'll be a fairly decent size for a 3 to 6 month old baby. I finished the body last weekend. I did 2 more rows of seed stitch at the bottom than the pattern called for because I just thought it finished it nicely. It looked better than the sixth. It was funny because I was working on it at my mom's, and I said, what do you think? Should I add 2 more rows or just quit now? And I was really hoping for permission to quit now. But I knew it was going to look better with the 8. My mom goes, no, it's going to look better with the 8. Fine. So I finished it off, and then I bound off, and we were fine. I put the sleeve on needles. I literally can't hear on this side because the last time I blew my nose, I kind of filled my ear. So, hooray. Like you needed to know that. I've put it on needles, but they're not the right size. I couldn't find my 6s, so I put it on 7s. This will tell you that this pattern is done on a 4mm needle, which is a US 6. I couldn't find my 6s for the sleeves, so I put it on 7s, and I'm not liking it. I desperately want to find the 6s so that I can put it on the right size needles. These are cheapo Walmart needles, their new brand that Walmart carries, the Love Knitting needles. They're not great. I don't love the texture. I don't love how blunt they are, but they were good in a pinch, so I bought a few sets, and they are cheap, so. I don't have a set for larger DPNs. I really should buy one. I should buy the Carbons because I love my Carbons. But I haven't gotten around to it yet, so in the meantime, while I am on a budget, I buy the cheapy Walmart needles, and I am less than thrilled with them. So it's a trade-off. I mean, I might buy some nicer ones when I'm at Rhinebeck if I can find the funds for it. Rhinebeck is going to be a little bit easier now. I went out the other day and got myself a second job. So I went on a job interview Friday night, and as soon as I walked in, I had the job. So it was kind of funny. That's never happened to me before, but I was applying for a job at a grocery store. So It's something I've done a million times. I worked in grocery stores for years when I was younger, and I've cashiered in a number of places. So, although it's well in my past, I'm easily able to do it. So, I start sometime this week. They are going to call me today to set up my first training shift, and I will be working part-time at a grocery store in addition to my daytime job to make extra money to pay my debt off faster, because I was unemployed for 2 years, and I accumulated quite a bit of debt. Not that anybody cares, but sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent now. I did accumulate a bit of debt while I was unemployed, and I want to pay that off and start putting money aside to either do some repairs to my car or eventually replace my car, because my car is 14 years old and she's beginning to show her age. Right now she just needs some brake work, and that'll be done this week, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's the sort of thing where, you know, you don't think about how you're going to replace your car until you need to replace your car. So I'm trying to get ahead of that a little bit, because my car is in very good shape right now. It's a 2005 Toyota Corolla, so it was built in 2004. It's now 2018, so it is about 14 years old, and it needs a little bit of work, but it's in very good shape otherwise. It still gets excellent gas mileage. I love this car. I would buy another Toyota Corolla tomorrow. That's my little plug for my Toyota. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not anticipating replacing her for a few more years, but I'd like to be able to when the time comes. So back to the sweater. This is the Autumn Leaves by Nikki Vandekar. I don't know if you can actually see the little lace pattern. It makes little leaves that come down onto the body of the sweater all the way around. It's super cute. I love it. It was a really easy knit. It was super quick, to the point that when I put it down in the fall, I literally only had about 1.5 inches left of the body left to knit before the seed stitch at the bottom. It's a freebie on well, it's not on Ravelry. I think you have to go to her site and sign up to get the pattern mailed to you, but it's a freebie. It's by Nikki Vandekar, and this is knit out of Stylecraft Life DK, and the colorway is called Mixtures Gorse. I keep calling it Gorse Mixtures because Mixtures Gorse just doesn't make sense to me, but it's called Mixtures Gorse, and it's done on a 4mm needle. Let's not try to telescope our words together too much. 4mm needle, which is a US 6. So I made a little bit of progress, but not a lot, because I want to find the right size DPMs for the sleeves. I'm picky. I'm usually not, but, and I still, like, honestly, I still have quite a bit of this ball left. What did I do with it? There it is. I still have quite a bit of this ball left. Sorry, my shirt's coming apart here. There you go. Come on, I pressed on. I still have almost 60 grams of this. I can make a whole nother sweater. Like, and I may use this and the other ball that I have, because I did have 2 skeins of this. I may use them to do a baby surprise jacket. I don't know. I'm sort of in baby mode. Even though this is not meant for anybody in specific, and I don't have any babies that I know of coming soon. I'm gonna just knit baby sweaters and have a couple stockpiled for the next time somebody gets pregnant. Because it'll happen. Babies just keep coming. The last thing I've been working on, now that I've, babbled on incessantly about everything. Sorry, I'm just going to rescue my tea here. I discovered the other day that my daughter was rescuing my tea because my daughter created us a nice little colony of fruit flies. I discovered on Friday that she had a little stockpile in the corner over there of fruit that she had not eaten from her lunches over the course of the week. And I was like, seriously? Really? She's 17, y'all. Anyway, so yes, because of that, I've got fruit flies everywhere, and I'm desperately trying to get rid of them. I know that wine or vinegar in a little bowl with some saran wrap on it, but I don't have any wine or vinegar in the house right now. That's another thing I have to pick up when I go out to pick up the kids later, is some vinegar. Because I used it all in my laundry. I use it a lot for laundry. So the other thing I'm working on is the Celestial Socks Test Knit by, the pattern is by Brandy Miller. I've got this lovely tonal pink. So this cannot be bust knitting because there are separate charts for the front and back of the foot. That's all I'm going to tell you. There are separate charts for the front and back of the foot. It just requires a little bit more of my attention than a potato chip sock that I could knit on the bust and not have to pay attention to. So I've got this little locking stitch marker to indicate where the back of the sock is. So when I start there, I'm starting the back of the sock. So that way I know that one chart goes here, across here, and the other chart goes across here. And I've got these little stitch markers here. These are fantastic. I love them. These are my sock needle stitch markers. They are, oh, and of course I've covered up the little label, so I will. The little baggies, my fingers are too fat for the little baggie. This is ridiculous. So these are rubber O-rings that I buy on Etsy. I buy the larger ones for my bigger needles as well. If you've seen me knitting, those are not the right ones. Where did I put them? Oh, they're right here. So these are the larger ones. I just put them in an old prescription bottle. These are 10mm O-rings. So I get them in a variety of colors. If I'm knitting with dark yarn, I want lighter ones. If I'm knitting with light colored yarn, I want darker ones. I've got some green ones somewhere too. So I just put them in there for ease of access. But the little ones that I got for sock needles, these are teeny. Come on, focus. You can do it. There you go. So these are actually 6mm O-rings. That's the outer dimension, not the inner. So the bigger ones I use are 10, and these are 6. And they are, let's see, get you, if you can see this. There you go. So there's the, Bead Me a Story is the store I buy them from, and you can get them on Etsy, and I really like them, and they're, as you can see, they're not expensive, and I use them for everything. So I keep those, this is easily kept in my little notions pouch over here, which is actually quite big. This is from Bags by Awesome Granny. I was just thinking Darlene, that's not helpful, that's not the name of her shop. So this is a notions pouch from Bags by Awesome Granny. You can see her little label in there somewhere. There we go. And Darlene is amazing, and I love her. I love her bags. I've got the large size in this pattern as well, and I think I have one of her smaller bags somewhere, one of the medium ones. So this easily just pops in there and doesn't take up any space at all. So it's great. I love it. And those are my stitch markers because I really needed another tangent. So this is the Celestial Socks Test Knit by Brandy Miller. The yarn is Fleece Artist Trail Sock that was hand dyed by my friend Crystal, who is Chris Knits on Ravelry. Krys Chris, not. And these are an experiment because I'm doing them on 2.25mm needles, which is a US 1. I've never knit socks on that size needle, so it's a bit of an experiment for me. And I gotta say, the last time I tried to do this, I didn't enjoy it at all, and I ended up ripping out the sock and doing it on 2.5. This time, it's not bothering me. It's fine, and I think the pattern's gonna show up really nice. And I can't wait until I get a little bit further in the charts. I will have to ask Brandy's permission to show you guys once I get a little bit further in the charts because it is not yet a published pattern. I think she's hoping to publish this one sometime around Halloween. So, off my glasses, really. They're so rude. They're only here because I have a drink. If I didn't have anything to eat or drink out here, they would not be anywhere near me, but because I have a drink, they're flocking to me from over there. Obviously the fruit has been tossed out into the compost and isn't there anymore, but of course they stick around for a few days. Managed to make most of the summer without them. Now, oh, that's it for the knitting content, so I can babble a little bit now. I'll try not to too much. I went out this week, and when I got to the grocery store, they had these huge bins of squashes and pumpkins outside, and they were at a reasonable price, and I've been missing squash. The last time I tried to buy a spaghetti squash, they tried to charge me $8 for it, and I was like, oh no. Never mind the squash. So I was super excited. They keep trying to swim in my tea. Damn it, guys. So gross. And I think I'm done with that tea now as a result. I was so excited to see squashes and pumpkins at a reasonable price that I bought one spaghetti squash, 2 pumpkins, little pumpkins, and what the heck is this thing called? I have another squash sitting here right here. I was going to bring it to my aunt last night, but she doesn't like squash. It is a sweet dumpling. So this one I'm actually going to cut into wedges today and drizzle it with some olive oil and maybe some Parmesan cheese and just stick it in the oven and make myself squash fries. I love squash so much. You have no idea how happy I am right now. It is squash season and I am in heaven. So there's a little bit of glue on my squash. That's a little weird. So yeah, these are sweet dumpling squash, and they usually come with a little sticker that gives you an idea how to cook them and stuff like that, but this one just has the name. I mean, I know how to cook squash anyway. It's a little bit like an acorn squash, but it has a higher sugar content and a slightly different taste. It's a little milder than an acorn squash, so I'm very much looking forward to having this for my dinner. My daughter will have half, obviously. I won't be eating it all by myself because that's a lot of squash. But yes, this will be part of our dinner, along with something else. I'm not sure yet. So I'm very excited. It's squash season. Yay! And even more exciting, I will talk to you guys about this next week because I will have just come back from what I'm going to do. I'm super psyched. I signed up for a mushroom walk. There's a group called Forage Ottawa, and they do nature walks, teaching you how to forage for yourself in nature and stuff. And I signed up for their mushroom walk next week, and I'm super psyched about it. So is my cousin, because he's getting the mushrooms. But because I told him, I said, look, I don't know how to cook these, and I'm not sure what to do with them, so I'm just going to bring you whatever I get, and you can teach me how to cook them. And he was like, yeah. So he's pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it. If you're local, look up Forage Ottawa on Facebook, and they have all kinds of events all throughout the year, and I'm really looking forward to this mushroom walk next Saturday. So I will be podcasting post-walk, and I look forward to telling you all about it and showing you what I got. So other than that, I watched a ridiculous amount of TV this week. I found after I finished with Anne with an E, I looked around Netflix because I wasn't sure if I wanted to download something, if I wanted to watch something on Netflix, what I was going to do. And this one show sort of caught my eye in the Netflix lineup, and I'm conflicted about watching it because most of the content really bothers me. But it's also funny. It's actors I like. And I'm sort of, every episode I watch, I'm like, oh. It's a show called The Ranch, and it's Sam Elliott and Deborah Winger, Ashton Kutcher, and Danny Masterson. Ashton Kutcher is the executive producer, and so it's kind of funny because there are all kinds of cameos from other actors from that 70s show. So far, there's been Deborah Rupp, there's been Kurtwood Smith, I think his name is, the guy who played Red. There have, Fez, the guy who plays Fez, and I can't for the life of me, Valdemar, I don't remember his whole name. The guy who plays Fez was a recurring character for a while. And there have been a lot of actors come on from that 70s show, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of it, to see who else shows up, because I'm a sucker for that. So far, what's her name? His wife. Mila Kunis has not made an appearance, but I'm sure she will at some point, or not. I don't know. I'm not sure how old this show is. the lead, well, one of the main characters is Sam Elliott's character, who is a staunch Republican, does not like Obama, and so it's pre-current administration and the show, anyway. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like how, I'll have to look at what years it came out. But so far, I find it problematic because just about every one of the characters is an alcoholic. Pretty much every one of them. Which is problematic for me, personally. If you don't have a problem with people drinking a lot, you won't have a problem with this. I have a lot of trouble with a lot of the commentary going on in the episodes and stuff like that. There's a lot of sort of casual racism and a lot of misogyny, like a lot of misogyny. And a lot of stuff that, as a person who sort of rails against these things on a daily basis, really, really bother me. But honestly, I'm just watching it as fluff, and I'm trying to put my own biases aside to just enjoy it as fluff, and then it'll be over, and then I can go back to whatever. So it is really funny. Really, really funny in an offensive way. So a lot of the jokes are somewhat offensive. If you're okay with that, you'll enjoy it. If you're not, don't watch it. You won't like it. I have a lot of trouble with some of the jokes, and I just kind of have to go, okay, didn't like that one, let's move on. I'm trying not to allow... There are jokes that if my friends made them, I'd be like, oh, mm-mm. So that's why it's problematic for me and why I'm so conflicted when I watch it. Because they're not jokes that I would accept in my circle of friends, and they're not jokes that I would accept people making to me. I would say, no, sorry, that's not funny. And I don't find those funny in the show. There's a lot of other stuff I find funny, but not those. So that's why I'm not, yeah, watch this show, it's great, because I've got so much conflict regarding the type of humor used. It's aimed at a very different audience than what I normally watch. So I'm trying to take it in that sort of vein. Rob would love it. He loves Last Man Standing. I wouldn't watch that if you paid me. So, yeah, to each their own. We don't all have to like the same things, right? That's what I keep telling people when they rail at me going, how can you like that? Well, we don't all have to like the same things. Podcast-wise, I haven't watched a lot. I watched a Must Love Yarn episode. I watched a couple of Nina's short little mini episodes that she's been putting out. She's been putting out little snippets, and I've been watching those because they're super awesome. I will confess that I immediately went out and bought her New York hat sock collection. I had a credit, and as soon, like, I watched that little snippet when she announced the launch of those, and I was like, yep, those are mine. Boing. So I went and bought them, and I intend on casting a few on over the course of the winter. I do a lot of hats when I want something quick and easy. I don't wear hats. So that's why it's kind of funny that I knit so many hats, because I don't wear them. But I do bring a box to the shelter or bring them to a charity or whatever. I just get rid of most of the hats I get. So I'm looking forward to knitting those. I get the feeling that that hat collection which is based on the New York sock collection, which is also by Nina Phillip, and she used the stitch patterns from the socks for the hats. So I actually really liked the New York sock collection when it came out. I didn't buy it, but I intend to at some point. But I know I'll knit the hats. So I've been watching a couple of her little snippets, and I'm looking forward to casting on one of her hats. And joining her hat cal that she has going on in her podcast group. Obviously, I've been checking out the Down Cellar Studio podcast because I am participating in the pigskin party, and I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute here. So I have signed up for the pigskin party. I don't know if you can still sign up. I don't think so. Go check her group, check the rules. I don't know if you can still sign up. It started on September 4th, so it's been going for about a week and a half. Sadly, the only project I have that qualifies for the pigskin party is this one that I've made almost no progress on, because they don't allow works in progress. So, oh well, that's why I'm trying to finish up some of my works in progress, because it's not a big deal. The pigskin party goes until February. So I think, I don't remember the date. It's the date of the Super Bowl. I don't follow football. I just find it a really fun knit along. So I don't follow the football. I don't go in for any of the football stuff, but I really enjoy the knit along. It was a lot of fun the last time I participated a couple of years ago. So if you are participating, great. Glad to have you. And if not, well, you'll have to watch the rest of us and listen to me babble on about pigskin party for the next 4 months. I will try not to do too much of that. The only other thing that I had to talk to you about, and I left it in my bedroom, so I can't even show you. A little while back, I had showed that I was reading An Acceptable Time by Madeleine L'Engle, and I looked it up, and that's how you pronounce her last name in English. It's L'Engle, which is a little weird for me, but because it's a French name. So it literally means the angle in French. So I guess it makes sense. So I had lost track of it for a little while. Turns out it had fallen behind my bed. So that's why I couldn't find it to read it. I picked it up again the other day and realized that I had no idea what the beginning of the book was. I had completely forgotten. So I started over at the beginning, and I'm trying to do a chapter every time I pick it up. The other night I think I fell asleep two pages short of the chapter, but that's fine. So that's what I'm reading right now, is An Acceptable Time by Madeleine L'Engle, and it is the final book in the Wrinkle of Time series. So once I finish this book, then I can watch the movie. And I feel a little bit bad because I don't think it's in theaters anymore, but I will buy a copy of this movie just so that I can see it. It's a great series of books. If you like contemporary fantasy sci-fi, totally go for it. It's amazing. I love it. And there's quite a bit of actual science thrown in. It's definitely one of the better book series I've read in a really long time. I'm very disappointed that I didn't get to read it when I was younger. It came out probably before I was old enough to read it. I think the first book actually came out before I was born. But, you know, it's the sort of classic series that all kids have read, and, well, all people who grew up in my age group have read as kids, and I never even heard of it. So I'm looking forward to finishing it so I can watch the movie, because I've actually been watching interviews with people who were in the movie, and as trying to find out how to pronounce Madeleine L'Engle's name. So I've been very much enjoying that, and look forward to finishing it. I may finish it in the next week or so. I imagine I'm not going to have anything, I'm not going to bring knitting to work on my breaks when I'm at the store. So I'm probably going to bring a book and just read on my breaks, because what else are you going to do for 15 minutes? So that's about it. I'm literally just floundering in waffle land at this point, so I will say goodbye and have a great week, and I hope everybody is enjoying the cooler weather that we had for a couple of days, and I'm hoping it comes back here. Apparently it's very nice in Chicago, where I am not. So I'll say have a great week, and talk to you soon, and that's about it. Bye.